Welcome to the living room. This is a reading series and salon, and I make this joke every single time, but no, we are not doing your hair. So we're actually going to be encouraging you to talk with each other, get to know each other, get to know some new people, and I know that a lot of you guys have been doing that in this little waiting period, which is awesome. It just means you're really on top of things, you're early, you get a gold star, maybe you'll get some points, you'll figure out what that means later. And definitely, we're just excited to have you here because we have 5 amazing poets who are gonna be with us tonight. Woo-hoo! And an amazing thing about the poets is that some of them have books, and some of them have books that you can buy. And so a good excuse to talk to a poet is to, pull out your Venmo and be like, hey, I loved your poems. Can I get your book? And the poet will be like, yes. And you'll be like, great. And then you'll have like a real conversation after that, I'm pretty sure. However, we're super excited because the theme this month is excellence. So all of the poets you're gonna be hearing are excellent. Amazing. So to introduce us for the rest of the night, Kevin Dublin.
So we're in Syzygy SF, like Syzygy. Who here is it your first time coming here? Oh, welcome. Yeah, so you're probably like, what is Syzygy? How do I say it? Do I have to say it when I talk about it out loud? Or can I just write it? You can just say Syz as well. And Syzygy is an arts co-op, and there's so many things going on here all the time. There's like monthly events like this. There's weekly events like hobby hangouts, which happen on like Tuesdays, just like bring a hobby and do it. Sometimes there's specific things in mind. We just have a board game night. So in the week before that, there's like, brewing, all kinds of things, zine making. There's a comedy show here last night. Hopefully there will be more. There's like whispers. But yeah, check out syzygsf.com. If you see any of the like QR codes on the walls, like to keep this going, because it's pretty much membership fees and then just like and donations to keep things running. Like donate. In fact, I will pass around like a QR code thing too. I want to do that. Same with QR code for the living room, and want to do that as well. So we're gonna have poets. Poets are gonna read excellent work. And when poets read, how do we show support? I know it's cold, y'all. I know it's cold. I know, and it's sapping the energy. It's like, man, there's snow in Santa Cruz in the mountains. Like you can't drive down 17. Like what? Like I can't celebrate when that's going on. This is California. Let's where's that energy? Give me a little bit. Give me some more energy. So I'm gonna go. Hey, and I want y'all to go. Oh. All right, and I want y'all to keep that energy for all the poets. Like you hear something that's going on and you like it, I want you to snap, I want you to clap, I just want you to just give it like, oh yeah, like you get a little like it's like. So I had my wife, I'm married now. So she made a chocolate cake. I hear that you get like cake every month, and that's what's been happening these last 2 months. And I feel like it's gonna keep happening. So she made me cake, and it was real good, and I was just like, ooh. And my first bite, you hear something, think about that cake, think about somebody who might make you some cake, and just like that line of that poem, and I want you to just go there, just let it happen. It's a safe space. Any side conversations? I mean, like maybe you're really touched by it. Let's like hold a side conversation in the middle. There's going to be intermission time for that, and oh, in the refrigerator, yeah, there's some beers. If you drink beer and you want a beer, have a beer. Again, you can just have it, or and if you want to donate. Other than that.
There's one more thing before we get started. I know, we've got a lot of things, but the cool thing is that I'm saying thing a lot. Anyway, one thing about poetry is that a lot of times it can evoke a lot of emotions in you. It can evoke a lot of inner thoughts, sometimes even inner traumas if we're talking about big and global topics or even bigger personal topics. And so one thing that we really want to encourage you to do is take time for yourself. We are going to have an intermission, and you are also welcome to go to the back, take a little step into the cold air, kind of be refreshed by that, and then come back to the heat in this room. Where there's going to be some heat on this mic, and the first person who's going to bring heat to this mic is Donté Clark. So, Donté Clark is super cool. I saw him read at Yerba Buena Gardens Festival, and I literally had my jaw on the floor. And when he released a book, I was like, okay, I am DMing you, I am Venmoing you, I am getting everything from you. And I did not regret it. Psalms is out right now, and I hope you have some copies of it or that you're reading from it today because it was amazing. But the thing here at the living room is that we don't actually ask for author bios. Instead, we're going to ask for a couple questions to hopefully get you thinking more deeply about these people as human beings rather than thinking of them as a list of accomplishments. And so, since the theme of this month is excellence, we asked the poets, what does excellence mean to you? And Donté Clark responded by saying, good self-esteem rendered from your purpose determines your quality of life. What you put in is what you get out. Set the bar high at everything you do, even if it's only for you. And we know that bar is going to be high tonight. Everybody give it up for Donté Clark.
Yeah. The show. Check. All right, I think I'm going to sit down for this. Can you do this one? Yeah. Perfect. Appreciate it. I usually don't like to intro anything I do. Try to just jump into it. But I guess for the sake of it right now, I was under the impression of a different thing in my mind, and I was going off of that. So excellence, I feel like, is still compatible with some of the pieces that I will share. I might skip some, I might read them, I don't know. Kind of like go in the moment. I'm usually a person that like to memorize and go off memory. So reading, I'm trying this new thing out. So these poems are from this book, Psalms, that I wrote. Now I'm trying to figure out what y'all want to do first. Ring, ring the boogeyman. Tell him I got a song that'll string that ghetto bird in graves could sing along. Thinking the thoughts that trauma teaches the thinking. They're trying to train those of us that's thoroughbred to talk tersely and timid, to teeter. Teeter till teetering teaches us to trace to the third trace of toddler, to be tripping, tumbling 10,000 times to get tossed over to the tangle of taunting tales that's told to us about their tenacious taboos. The tragic traffic that trackless, the torture that's tattooed in the thrusting trials, trekking with tribulations, always there to twist and touch the torsos of the talented 10, the targeted, The 10 toes of the toughest teenagers traumatized by the tactics that the tyrannical task force used to tame us by torture. They're attempting to tear through our time. While there be too many teachers thieving the temples, taken to the temples be tilted, tide of tithing. This peace be tips to them, the tongue-tied, tied ticks that's tricking the people to trick, trample, triple out their treasures, trash to the totality of the treacherous terror domes, the tasteless territories where the thugs tend to, where there be telephones that televise a tirade of toxic tears. Ooh, that's truism. The thinking, the thoughts that trauma teaches the thinking, how we will go through total turmoil just to tell our tribal testimonies through telephones. Telephones. Ring, ring, the boogeyman. Tell him I got a song. But nobody can stop the outcome of cherry wine and one mic, where I can dance heaven while worshiping the ether. Because I understand how yellow diamonds are a lingering veil of spiritual amnesia, and is no apology towards God at the altar. And until you look through my eyes and see more to a song than a crime story, and hear my prayer about slipping down School Street and wanting to leave this kennel, knowing there's a lot to learn before the angel let me fly through the storm, or walk my dogs through the next exodus. Daily I fight the urge to make a move, but I'm so ready to meet him. Like, please, Lord, give me a sign. Loosen my tie from the law of lust demons, terrorist threats on my pineal gland, and show my lonely soul the braille of God's reign in the tree of life. But I'm on the run from the soulless barking about a body count, because those are offerings made for the devil's team. And by the time I get to Arizona, they will have you believe that we are prophets of rage and mind terrorists, because I don't want to be called yo nigga, because I wrote a letter to the New York Post and made a boast that we shut them down. Bet they say we too much posse. We too much rebel without a pause, like black steel in the hour of chaos, but don't believe the hype. We only bring the noise that's louder than a bomb that'll raise the roof to the scrutiny or security of the first world, because we want all power to the people. But the CIA snuck and set a time bomb for a mega blast to turn our revolutionary generation into a night of the living baseheads. Not because my Uzi weighs a ton, but simply because they fear a black planet. And it's like having close encounters with an El Dorado sunrise. Feels like a wildflower next to scrap metal that smells like fire, when people are satisfied with watching the evening news for a sign of the times to come down with the sun. I guess getting grown for a crybaby becomes a scarlet fever that spends the night in your mind and be thinking out loud. Have you up at grandma's house searching through 1,000 words of gifted parables at the tip of champagne glasses, waiting for one of those sweet Lord interludes to make me feel back home again. But who cares about the art of noise of a would-be killer if it ain't a charity case? And you know, I remember the times when I wanted to paint the sky red, counted steps I took under dark clouds when roaming as thief in the night. It's those dark conversations that I take to my grave, because when your heart's on ice, it becomes a tombstone. And who's going to take the blame for you hitting rock bottom, boy? Survivor, it should be abandoned. Like everything feels too close enough to hurt, so hearts for sale. And we have failed to become like our praying grandmothers, whose soul fly towards the ribbon in the sky because we pray, but they pray for love, so they get sky priority. And I heard them say that the lack of school spirit will be the reason why my spaceship won't reach the sky. That until I learn how to hold my liquor and drive slow, crack music will have my blood on the leaves under a jail moon, wishing that I'll fly away when it all falls down. Said, with everything I am, they can't tell me nothing. Yet I wondered if they feared my runaway as a homecoming, that the glory I sought from a good life is the last call of the champion who came up from the ashes, stronger, watery born, as the one who will survive, America. Now, I don't pretend I'll be alive in 100 at Salon, but a free spirit told me that the angels would keep me. As for now, a scenic drive in the backseat towards Sun City is my motion therapy. When living in America will have you stoned to the bone in hot pants and cold sweats, they'll say if you can't stand it, give it up or turn it loose. Yet I say shoot your shot. Take some, leave some. And while waiting for the boss and the big payback, don't be talking loud, saying nothing. Use your soul power like a funky drummer. So when it's time to get up off that thing, you will get up on the good foot. On the good foot. And yesterday I went searching for the rivers of my fathers and somehow ended up stopping for small talk at 125th and Lenox. And for quite some while there we stood, me and the devil. Midwinter in America, kicking up angel dust, ghetto style, reminiscing on inner city blues until the first minute in a new day. And at that corner, I was left alone, wondering, where did the night go? And then once again, something guided me to up my feet to search for the rivers of my fathers. And I somehow ended up slipping, drowning drunk at the bottom of a bottle. Well, usually that's where I fall when I go running from certain things. It still feels like I'm new here. It's hard to accept that we almost lost Detroit while New York is killing me. Man, I tell you one thing. Home is what a hatred is. And part of my mind still believes we can save the children. And other parts are wandering. Who gonna pay reparations on my soul? My guess is, when you are who you are, peace go with you, brother. Peace go with you. And yesterday's Sunny Duet and Diddy Bop session was all I needed for a reality check. To kick in a freedom interlude from the Casket Pretty and Forever Cries of Bye Bye Baby. It seems like Shadow Man stays on the telephone with no name. But after 26 years and 17 days, I finally made up my mind. I'm done crying. Ring, ring, the boogeyman.
Let's keep it going. It's like, I'm like, man, I want that soundtrack. I was like, songs. I get it. Yo, no, that was great. Definitely. There are no copies of Psalms here right now. They're sold out. But I feel like if you could talk to Donté, talk to Donté. He might, you can figure something out. That was great. We're gonna keep the poetry going. Maurya Kerr is before actually, I'm gonna read the answer to the question, which the question we were asking was, what does excellence mean to you? But there's a great anthology called The Future of Black, and it's like black superheroes and comics, and Lawson edited it. It's dope. Maurya has a poem in there that is about what is her name? She's like when DC Comics was the first black superwoman, and the first black superhero in DC Comics, and she's like Wonder Woman. But it's dope. You gotta go find it. It's a great collection. But when asked the question, what does excellence mean to you personally? Maurya said, attention is the beginning of devotion, which is a quote from Mary Oliver. So give your attention and give your applause to Maurya Kerr.
I too thought the theme was different. So I thought it was about renewal. So I'm gonna go for it. It's also amazing you get to a poetry reading. I'm like, I should have brought different poems, but these are the poems I have that I brought. And so in the trying to think about renewal, I tried to access some of the poetry I've written about love, which isn't very much, but these are my love poems. This first poem is about, in my family history, my great-grandmother, the legend is that she killed the white man who raped her. So this poem is for her and about her. It's called Venge. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. The man hits you, throws you, pins you. So you pray to mother, to father, to the land you never knew, but that land knows a tongue you do not speak, and your plaint lays unheard. This is how the fastened loosen. So you pray to the not mother nor father other land. This one here beneath the dirt floor, beneath the creaked bed, beneath you, beneath his hand, the man who is still under God. This land you know not by choice but by force, but still tilled, sweat, love. This bare bone unmuled land that God above you and you beneath the man God help you will never hold your beautiful bones. Your bones are meant for more, for some kind of glory. This you know. Minutes later, it's done. The man stands. The man walks to the door. The man opens the door. The man leaves. The door slams. The man has left. This is how the loosened sharpen. Behold the scythe, how it cuts. You stay still, open door, shut door, walk out a ways beneath this God-watched land. Sit down, lay down, wait. You lose count of birds flown by, the times you swallow, blink, lick your lips. By dusk you've decided. Your husband doesn't ask why you're lying beneath the sun in this muleless land, swallowing, blinking, licking your lips. He knows, waits. You rise, walk toward. Normally you lay together on the creaked bed beneath God and sky when he comes home weary bone, but tonight you both stand in the dirt floor room, quiet and dark. This is how the sharpened glisten. It's easy enough to find the man, kill the man. You and your husband bury the man sour bone deep beneath the land, beneath your goddamn gloried body, beneath heaven, beneath God. The smell of blood like newly slaked late summer soil, like copper, like shine. Behold the scythe, how it reaps beneath God beheld. This is how the glistened fasten, how black steadfasts, how a woman withstands. Plow the dead, harrow the fallow, till the bloody, sow. Then wait, bone, wait. Two more. This is called Bearer of. It is good to be a lumbering bear, knowing that what others consider lumber is anything but. Sitting on the heft of my haunches under moonlight, swaying as bears are wont to do to the 1, 2, 3 waltz of the world, which all can hear if only crouched closely enough. Holding the beauty of my softest belly, still wet-furred from the creek in my gracious killer paws. Don't be a worry bear. The eclipse terrors only those who worship the light. And it is good to be a Pooh Bear, who I've discovered I cannot sleep without, and who I worry about when I go, making sure he is nestled when cold, a pillow at his back mornings the sun comes late or never comes at all. But who am I to presume the wants of those whom I want? Perhaps Pooh might like some honey, a posy of roses, or to run into the woods, dancing, naked and unafraid. It is good to rest on the 7th day or the 6th day, or the 2nd, or even before the first collective inhale of stars when we're just a snarl, a swirl, before such sad, soft mess of living, before I grew in a woman's belly, although so tangentially, at such a distance, like the snaggly tomcat I feed on the porch but I'm afraid to let inside, whose many lives may ever last my own. Is it too late to come into my life as an unplowed field? I ask because my sternum has cracked apart and I must go lay the rush and gold of me in the sun. But if I must be plowed in this world that tills our bones, let me be fresh mown grass in the mouth of a brown cow murmuring, "Oh, how sweet," as she approaches her day. Keep adding to the list of words, spilth, tuft, vetch, for they are good. It is good to not read the news, good to not see the boys falling from the sky, forsaken cries, for how else can we go on? Surprises are good, even though the world has made of me an unsurprisable queen. I need a bedtime story or a song. I promise I won't fall asleep, but that perhaps is a lie, and a good one as lies go. How good it is that the backside of my heart remains dark, in shade. For the glisten, bare, bright bleed of it all, exhausting. But know that exhaustion is also good, because someday it will force my fugitive joy to stop its flee, sit down and speak, stay soft. For somewhere there is another body waiting for mine, in its most ferocious love, to lay close, closer still and quiet, next to its own thumping, thumping, thump. And I have another poem about a husband, which is weird because I'm not married, so I don't know what that's about. St. Matthew's Hospital, December 2018. My husband, who loves to say the word black as often as he can, even when it doesn't quite work, greets me with, "I think you better go out and come black in." I laugh. He asks if I've smuggled in cigarettes. I play along. This is our ritual until it isn't. I take 2 manicure sticks from my purse, pass him one. With puckered lips, we inhale and exhale deep. Lose ourselves to when we would light up in the dawn after fucking all night. Still drunk, so dirty, so glamorous. Kids really we were, so young, in love with our love. "Can you even believe it? Us," he would say. He's always refused my want to push back his cuticles, and so they remained, high, cracked, ashy, chafing against a body otherwise so creamy and brown. But here, now, he allows me. What is one more discomfort? My hair falls on my face and over his hands as I work, not wanting to tempt revocation of this task, this gift. I trim his nails, hangnails too. Then first warming the cocoa butter in my own hands, I enclose his, one at a time, softly rubbing until his skin sates. "Be anointed," I whisper. He's fallen asleep. I remember my father insisting I moisturize his back, even when my mother was right there. But here and now, all is forgiven. Therefore, let me kiss my father's back with the kisses of my mouth. Our favorite night nurse stops in, embraces me, lays the back of her hand on my husband's forehead. Let me kiss her arms like doves with the kisses of my mouth. "We are all so right to love you," I murmur in his ear. His neck is dampened with the night. Let me kiss his lips with the kisses of my mouth, breathe verdancy into the frailty of men. He rustles, soft. So behold my beloved, he of beautiful cuticles, butter balm skin, and blackness singing off his tongue. Arise and come away. Thank you.
Keep the applause going for Maurya Kerr. That was such a lovely reading. Thank you so much to both Donté and Maurya. They were so beautiful and also so interesting to think about how in some ways we can find renewal and excellence in the same plane of existence, and how beautiful it is to just have poems that overlap and kind of dance with each other in conversation, which is, I think, what we heard, like, visibly heard in Donté's reading, and what we heard in a lot of Maurya's poems that were in conversation with each other in terms of being about love, in terms of finding a different plane that you can prop yourself up onto. And I think that that's a huge bit about excellence, and maybe that's just my opinion on what excellence means, but here's the thing. I'm sure that all of you have opinions on what excellence means to you, right? We're about to enter our 10-minute intermission, which will probably be more like 12 minutes, which might also look like 15 minutes, because we want you to chat, we want you to talk with each other, and we want you to discuss what excellence means to you personally. Coming up, Nia McAllister. Everybody give it up for Nia McAllister. Quick thing is that we don't usually mention bios, as I said earlier in the reading. However, because Nia is part of our community partnership, I wanted to say that Nia is the Senior Public Programs Manager at the Museum of the African Diaspora, which means that they have fantastic events there every week and really dope exhibits. So go check out some programs at MOAD at moadsf.org/programs-events, or just go to moadsf.org, or just talk to Nia after this. Like I mentioned, talking to the poets is one of my favorite things to do at these readings, and it's a great way to connect with people who are, say it with me, excellent. Oh yeah. So when asked, what does excellence mean to you personally? Nia says that excellence is a deep commitment to not only uplifting one's self and creativity, but an investment in an uplifting community through care and collaboration. Excellence is showing up authentically, being driven to support others, and working to seek a freer, safer, and more just future for us all. And with that amazing introduction, let's give it up for Nia McAllister.
Hello, everyone. I don't remember writing all of that, so thank you for reminding me. I'm super excited to be here. I also enjoy sitting at readings. I haven't done that in a while, so this feels comfy cozy. I have some poems today that generally speak to excellence. So we'll begin with a piece called Inheritance. When I say silver runs in the family, we're not talking about that old money silver. We're talking thick braids, smooth locks, defiant curls, strands that fall like paper trails, wisps destined to defy gravity, edges slick like tide lines. Our wealth comes wrapped in silk scarves, protected nightly, fishtailed tightly, laid to rest upon satin sheets. We know that homegrown wealth best. That argon dipped, coconut oil coated, wash and go ready riches. Abundance never smelled so good. I count my strands carefully, lamenting the few who fall too early, but just wait until I wear my pearly halo proudly. Black at the root, silver is the crown. The women in my family only know how to age backwards. Our roots, born black and proud, stay always black and proud. This next piece is in dedication to one of my favorite writers, Ndizake Shange. It's entitled Consort of the Spirits. There are roadmaps in my great-grandmother's braids. She keeps seeds in there too, because where we are going, home must come with us. Tell me how your mother hides spices in the hem of her skirt, tucks hymns behind her ears, and calls it packing for tomorrow. Did the women in your family hide rosewater in their saliva, sage in between their thighs? Because how dare we sleep on strange land without blessing? There are black eyed peas in my auntie's coin purse. She keeps moonlight in there too. Because luck is far more precious than loose change. Tell me how your sister folds indigo leaves between her toes, smuggles cotton flowers beneath her arms, and promises that where we are going, there will be color. I carry a cowrie shell in the crook of my arm. It sings when my twins are near. I wear strands of sea glass upon my ears because where we are going, there will be music. Do the women in your family wrap beeswax around their ring fingers, tuck matchsticks in their collarbones, and vow that we will never know darkness? They call this survival, but we know better. Where there's a woman, there is magic. They call this survival, but we pack what we must because what we return to may no longer be ours. They call this survival, but this ritual of making to leave before knowing where we're headed is how we birth futures. They call this survival, but the body is a compass, and we are each other's destination. When I think about excellence, it is both everything that I wrote about that was just read aloud, but also sometimes there comes an expectation, too much expectation sometimes with this idea of excellence, to be good, to be better, to be the best. And I think this next poem gets at that. It's entitled Pantone. The color of front lines and back doors. The color of their table and no seats. The color of first. The color of misnamed. The color of speak only when spoken to. The color of token. The color of outspoken. The color of unannounced fingers meeting braids. The color of only. The color of clutched purses and quickening paces. The color of the other side of the tracks. The color of missing. The color of pins dropped on conference room floors. The color of the unweighted table. The color of 63 cents. The color of the service elevator. The color of too good to marry but good enough to fuck. The color of headstrong. The color of switching tongues. The color of talking so well. The color of my word against yours. The color of being magic enough for everyone. And I'm going to close with this final piece, which the title draws from a line in Toni Morrison's Beloved. This is entitled, In the Day Diamonds Are in the Water. The only time the ocean cut me, I bled stories. They said, what a beautiful yet terrifying thing it is to be free. They said, we have traveled years to bring you our names. We knew you'd forget them, or worse, never recognize them in the first place. They said, remember me, unfold your tongue, gather in your hands all the cities your foremothers birthed freedom in, scatter milkweed seeds in the wind, and call us home. So waterlogged and weary, I bandage my wounds with diamonds and rise from seam foam memory, homebound. I've never been far from the page. How else to learn what moonlight looks like through blue-eyed promises? Oh, but to be Sonia, to be Tony, to be wind in a cotton field scattering marigolds. I wish I knew Arkansas clouds, like I do the lines on a palm, like I do the recipe for forgiveness. Joy is memory in the refrain, magic too hopeful to stay hidden, See, the trick to befriending stories is listening after all. Yet sometimes, belonging cannot be traced by tide lines or railroads carved out of the night sky, but rather dog-eared pages and overdue book finds. See, having a library to owe things to makes one at home, right? So we write, we sing, we rename our story legacy before they claim we were never here in the first place. Find us on the page, as she said, this is the first battlefield we play on. Here our words dance, and so we too leap into blissful surrender. And one day we will fly, and one day we will fly.
Fantastic. Let's give it up one more time. Got one more poet for you. And that poet is Darius Simpson. And so I'm gonna read the answer, but also want to shout out and specifically mention. Make sure y'all aware. How many people are aware of like people's programs? Or even if you, yeah, I mean, we'll come back to it. But there's so much going on. So much going on. So if you don't, talk to Darius or Google. I mean, you know, or both actually. You should definitely do both. But there's a lot of programs going on, whether that's like mobile health clinics, whether that's breakfast and political education programs, whether that's legal support, whether that's People's Garden and fresh grocery giveaway. And then even if you don't know, like in partnership with Hello Black Podcast, if you don't know that too, there's Tales of the Town. Hey. So, like Tales of the Town, like I mean, it's funny because it's like, oh man, it's gonna be doing like podcasts, and then it's just like it's a much bigger project. It's like it's like there's a soundtrack, it's dope. There's a film that still haven't seen. I want to see that. It's supposed to be. It's gonna be and festivals about like you gotta check it out. You can donate to that too. You can go and support and be a part of programs. You can go and learn, be part of education. You can go, just check it out. But when asked, what does excellence mean to you personally? Darius said, to me, excellence describes a honing of skill through practice to create an experience that really can't even be described except for that word excellent. There's some dangerous correlation between black excellence and white supremacist capitalist definitions of success that should be resisted. There's all kinds of excellence synthesizing around us in spite of that though. So let's give it up for Darius Simpson.
So I've been trying to decide what poems I was going to do, but now I want to rant about people's programs because Kevin brought it up. Yes. Tap in. We are a revolutionary new African socialist organization. You tap in with the website or me to figure out what those words kind of mean. We got a lot of programs that Kevin laid out if you're trying to pull up and tackle some of the systems that you're going to hear about in my poems. Come deal with us, in the field, on the ground. And do some poems. Oh, I should say, I have a book. I wrote a book. The poems we're going to do tonight are from the book. If you love the poems and the performance of them, get the book. If you absolutely hate them, get the book. It'll teach me a lesson, I promise. It'll take my money. Some disclaimers before poems. I guess it fits into excellence, and especially with the disclaimer of my understanding of relationship to excellence. Kwame Ture, y'all ever heard of Kwame Ture? Y'all heard? Right on, yeah. Kwame Ture, formerly known as Stokely Carmichael, is a person that I'm thinking about in terms of what it means to be an excellent struggler and organizer. Through Kwame, we see just really a lifetime going from the Lowndes County Freedom Organization to Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee to the Black Panther Party to All African People's Revolutionary Party. We see this person that from life till literal like passing out here, you know, really getting busy for the liberation, uplift of the world, really, but also especially of Africans. And so he makes this distinction that's really popular in snippets and videos between mobilization and organization. Y'all ever seen that? Some of y'all nod your heads. Essentially what he's saying is that every couple months, the state, this capitalist empire that we live under, is going to have some sort of expression of violence against its people that will be popularized. And so some examples he gives, you know, Miss Sally down the street will lose her house, a child in our community will be murdered by pigs, and we'll go out and we'll rise up, you know, because we are loving people, because, you know, we are humans, right? He says that's an example of mobilizing. The rallies, how we react to a situation rather than actually organize to change it. And so the distinction for him that he lays out in my understanding of it is moving from those reactions, from those situations where we exhaust all our energy, right? You know, if y'all were somewhat an adult in like 2014, you may have gotten outside and you remember we were real active, you know, 2020 even, we was real active for them like 2 or 3 weeks, and then naturally we got exhausted because that shit is not sustainable. So the argument is that we take that energy, that reaction, and build a full analysis of our situation. And so this pig murdering a child in the community is not just this instance, but it's also connected to the CEOs of the companies that we work for exploiting our labor, right? And those things are all connected. And these folks that are facilitating our reality, they're organized, and that means we have to organize too in order to change it. And so yeah, with that in mind, this poem was written a couple years ago. There was a big pro-Palestinian rally in San Francisco. You're all around. It's like thousands of people marching. So I wrote this after that, just thinking about that idea. It's called, okay, so maybe the rally won't get us free. I've drummed at more protests than celebrations. By protest, I mean we had a target and goals without permits. Marched to the rhythm of tears beating the pavement's skin. What's clear is we've been here before and will again. What's clear is there will be war until we win the war. If there is no war, maybe the United States will sandcastle crumble. If there is no United States, maybe Africa can sleep with both eyes closed. Maybe Cuba can get a decent shot at a Sunday afternoon. Maybe Palestine will look back on occupation as a faint memory. Maybe our movements coming to a standstill won't be surrendered. Maybe the rally won't get us free on this here Tuesday afternoon, but listen, for a few hours my lungs heave with a force besides grief, and thousands of pissed off cardboard posters bounce beside me, and yes, we have to organize outside of mobilizations, but damn it, they're killing children over there, and over here, and last night, and the week before last, and since the first settlers colonized, and don't that mean we got to burn something? And don't that mean we don't stop till sunrise blossoms and burnt orange haze spills across skyline bridges, and ain't that physics or human nature or the least we could do for our babies? There is entirely too much ash in this oxygen. There are simultaneously not enough fires on the West Coast. This evening I say coast and think of river borders and sea blockades, of dense populations and open air prisons, of gas mask kufias and bandana bandages, of rocks denting literal cannons. My comrades remind me there are fires to start. And I realize my hands are not nearly dirty enough. So I'm gonna read a poem and then perform a poem and get out y'all way, you know. Oh, I'm supposed to start with 2 objective facts. I forgot. So I have 2 facts I try to start performances or readings with. The 2 facts for today are that 1, oatmeal cream pies, objectively the best Little Debbie snack. Facts. The second fact, it's okay to shoot back at cops. Cool. So I have a poem that has excellence in it. My non-bio referenced Black excellence, and it comes up in this poem too, is called Perhaps We Are Our Ancestors' Wildest Dreams. Or, liberation was bludgeoned by so many reforms it fell off the back of picket signs. Maybe wildest dreams tripped on a pile of chain-linked orange jumpsuits, then fell down by the riverside, waded in forehead-height water but couldn't swim. Maybe capitalists are ravenous beasts with recyclable diets. For the wrong skin, all parts of humanity turn plastic. Maybe, as long as there are cages, there will be stomachs to feed off of them. Or, we were en route to another planet, but fell off the back of the school bus. And every decade, we invent a dance, a new language, to conspire for our escape back home. Or, America should be in our stomachs. Maybe we was the flood God sent that didn't finish its plate. Maybe Denmark Vesey had a solid blueprint after all. Maybe civil rights is a toy carrot dangling in front of a rabbit. Or the sky called and wants its children back. But Earth is a selfish tantrum holding on to things that don't belong to it. Or we just out here trying to function. Maybe Black excellence is white supremacy's baby cousin. Maybe excellence is the unstained white collar on my father's favorite blazer, after a night of 2 steps and endless scotch refills. Maybe $10 before 11 is the closest thing we got to a revolution tonight. Perhaps the neon gold glisten off a rope chain is a kind of rebellion. Or it's just a wonder we survived the genocide. In response to the murder of Hakeem Littleton, a very well-meaning Black person says, you know he shot at the police, right? You know he might not have had his hands up. You know he did not mentor at-risk teenagers after school. You know he was not up to date on his YMCA membership. You know he wasn't wearing a lick of white when they found him. Had his pants sagging, had his shirt untucked, had his lips unbuckled, dripping southern twang all on the concrete. It sounded like a mouthful of honeybees was stuck at the top of his throat. You know he was black. Like black, like dark roast coffee beans, black, like ashy knuckles, cradling a bottle of wild Irish rose on the sidewalk, black, like scarecrow, perched just outside that liquor store doorway, black, like purple tar gums and gold teeth, like paper bag hands and menthol breath, like empty Black and Mild wrappers stuffed in his glove compartment. I heard it wasn't even blood where they left him. I heard it was just stains of red Kool-Aid. I heard it was just puddles of strawberry pop fizz. Sugar would have got him if 12 didn't. His teeth were little yellowing daggers. He was a dragon, returned fire, went out in a puff of smoke. He was a weapon, didn't beg for his life or call for his mother or his partner. That nigga went out on his feet, brought a gun to a gunfight, brought mutiny to a slave ship at the Atlantic shoreline. That nigga was a nigga. And not like, ha, nigga. Not like next Democratic presidential nominee, nigga. Not like run fast, jump high, nigga. Like worm food covered in tree bark. like lead water clogging an artery, like dead leaves stuck in a gutter, like storm the arsenal and shoot the masters. He was one of those give me liberty or give me blood types. That nigga had the nerve to want freedom and then go do something about it. And still, what y'all gonna march for him? What would Malcolm X's old zoot suit think? What would a white woman's rendition of Dr. King think? What would the noose say? What if they see us mourning and then think we just as dangerous as him? What if I say liberation and they think I mean I hate America? What if I hate America but don't know no other homeland? Well, shit, what if America hates me back and does something about it but doesn't leave me time to shoot first? So, in the event that America is indeed America and does what America does, if I'm caught between a badge and a hard place, 3 hours after the street lights turn on, will you church it? Will you pass it along pews of almost saints until it reaches the whole congregation? Will you tithe it? Will you stretch it thin like goat skin over the shell of a djembe drum? Will you slap it? Will you let the echo dance naked in the wet cave of your throat? Will you bark it? Will you sing it like my mother is listening? Will you inhale until your lungs nearly burst, then inhale some more, then and only then will y'all say my name? Will you put some stank on it? Will you juke joint James Brown it? Will you Jerry Curl spray it? Now, how can I rest in peace or power if y'all get all lazy-lipped when you're talking about me? Will you scoop it thick? Will you stir it slow? Will you mac and cheese it? Will you to spread the savory over your tongue? Will you let it marinate? Will you serve it with Sunday dinner if you say my name? And cast iron skillets don't start to rattle, and that mean you ain't said it loud enough. Will you say it again? If an oak tree don't split open from the trunk, that mean you ain't pronounce it right. Will you say it again? Will you redecorate this city in streams of fire after me? Will you paint downtown a scorching hue? Will you stain the sky in black smoke? Will you tell ghost stories over the ashes of this empire? Will you scream it? Will you stand out in the clutter of some San Francisco rush hour traffic to let these motherfuckers know what kind of boots I wore? Will you stomp it into the soil of the last place where I laughed with my whole body? Will you dance it? Will you Saturday night praise it? Will you tambourine it? Will you drunken favorite song shout it? Will you full moon howl? Will you shriek? Will you moan? Will you chant? Will you live? Will you fight? Will y'all cry? Will you cry for me? Will you? Thank you. Again, I got the got the book on me. It's $25. If $25 is out of pocket for you, still come talk to me when you get the book in your hands. If you did not flinch at $25 and that's way too little for you, and you have so much more, you have a great job, pay more. You know, take care of the people that can't afford it. Tap in with people's programs. You're trying to volunteer. peoplesprograms.com/volunteer or talk to me. Send you the form. Super important. There's a really dope project going on right now. So many people involved, but just shout out to Boston Delancey. Shout out to, I feel like I'm on, I went into like radio mode, like, oh, shout out to my mom, So I started like thinking all the list. But that's all I'm doing. I'm just like, tap in. Like there's so many things to say about it, and I feel pressed for time right now. But there's a Tales of the Town project going on right now. It's a multimedia project, and so it's dropped in various stages. We just had the film and art exhibit happening. So if you check that out, anybody here, check that out. Had a couple people slide through. Stay tuned for what else there will be on the horizon. Tales of the Town is a story project that is telling the story of Black Oakland specifically. All of us who know about gentrification, who have experienced or, by the look of this room, participated in gentrification. We have a responsibility to learn that history, and it's really important that it's being told before, Black folks being forced into another migration out of a place, right? So, tap in with those things, and appreciate y'all.
Give it up one more time for Darius Simpson and Nia McAllister and Maurya Kerr and Donté Clark. We're gonna keep it rolling for them. In addition, what you're witnessing right now is me and Kevin trying to look for a couple of QR codes. One of the QR codes is sitting right there. It says SysGSF. Donate, join, whatever you want to do. The other QR codes that we've got, oh, there's one back there, are for some poetry workshops that we're holding. If you love what you've been hearing here, and you're like, wait a second, I want to hear what these poets have to say. If they wanted to teach something about poetry, specifically me teaching tomorrow at 12 p.m. You interested? There's a QR code floating around, and you can sign up for a workshop tomorrow, and also next week, and also the day after tomorrow, and also the day after tomorrow next week. We're hosting a whole series of craft intensives, 3 hours of teaching and amazing, amazing work. You will be writing, you will be learning, you will be working, and most importantly, you will be listening. One of the most amazing things about tonight was that every poem was kind of in conversation with another poem that the poet read, or another quote that the other poet said. And I actually want to bring up a couple things. The first thing being Maurya Kerr's wonderful, wonderful response to our question, which is, attention is the beginning of devotion. And I want to say that again. Attention is the beginning of devotion. And when I say that, I'm thinking about how Darius used his time up here and on the Google form that we sent out earlier to all the readers, not to promote his own book, which is amazing and everybody should buy it, but he used the time to say, hey, let's tap into People's Programs. People's Programs is doing amazing community work in Oakland, and they are doing amazing things. How Donté Clark came up here and was talking about all of the traumas of history and how we have to listen and hear for them. How Nia McAllister came up here and told us about Rememory, told us to sing along to the tone of Toni Morrison's In Our Past. And I really want to ask everybody in here, when we asked you to think of somebody excellent who you've thought of, how many of you thought about somebody who you know in your life? How many of you thought about somebody that you know in your life? How many of you said that, how many of you would say that that somebody that you know in your life is a good listener? I talked about my grandpa, and one of the best things about my grandpa was that he was always an open ear for me. When I sat down with him and was like, I want to be an author, I want to write books, he sat down and said, you don't know how to write yet, girl. So I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to pen your words down as you say them. And I want you to think about all of the wonderful people who you have been brought up by, and I want you to think about all of the wonderful people who you are bringing up now and today, and how you are bringing up an excellent world, and that world is only excellent if you try. That world is only excellent if you listen, and that world is only excellent if you come and show up for, fun events like these that can also be really informative and life-changing, and also in some ways eye-opening. And I want you to keep your eyes open. And I want you to hopefully come back next month in March when we have another amazing slate of 4 readers coming in and reading you amazing poems that will hopefully once again change your life. I know mine was changed tonight. Thanks everybody, and see you next month.